Thank you. Look, to start, it's great to actually present after Sophie. We had the privilege of being part of the 2024 BHP cohort. Tremendous program. We had a lot of fun on the program. The grant funding was used to pioneer seismic survey in the Kalahari Copper Belt, and that really led to a complete change in the way we framed our sedimentary copper models, working with the team, working with the group, working with Explore, and ultimately, the end goal, which is the ideal one in the Explore program, was a longer-term partnership with BHP. So following the Explore program, we were delighted to enter a partnership with BHP, and that came in the form of a $25 million earn-into joint venture on 2 of our projects. We're currently drilling on that program and certainly going to come up in my talk now. So highly recommended to anyone looking at the program. It's certainly a worthwhile experience. So my journey today begins in the Kalahari Copper Belt. This photo over here is taken from our Ngami project across the Kalahari Copper Belt, gives you a real idea of the landscape where we're working in. Now, when we first went into the belt, it was a promising area for new sedimentary copper-silver discoveries. We were pretty early in the belt. We like to see ourselves as having some first mover advantage when we came into the belt. These are our licenses in green, and we were able to peg a lot of the base and margin positions. Now, geologically, that's traditionally where you would find your larger deposits. Play forward a few years, and the belt's moved from an exciting exploration district into a producing copper district. We heard from Brendan earlier from Sandfire at the bottom, but there's also a move from MMG, who came into the belt about 18 months ago and purchased Kumukau for circa $2 billion. So 2 now substantial mining operations in the belt. Our 4 projects are hugely strategic now. As I mentioned, we've pegged the base margins, but we've also pegged a long strike from the mineralized zones that extend to the northeast from MMG. Again, all of our land holdings in Botswana, a tier 1 jurisdiction for mining, a favorite in a jurisdiction in Africa, routinely top of the Fraser Index, and certainly our experiences in the country have been nothing but favorable. Before we look at the projects individually, it's actually quite nice to take a step back and remind ourselves on the journey that we've come from. When we first went into the belt, we had concepts, we had ideas, we pegged ground around those ideas. We were able to do the first phase of exploration, cover some geophysics, move it a little bit further forward, drill, prove copper was in the system. We were able to prove that on each of our licenses. And then we carried on moving through the exploration cycle. We were really pleased to have released our first maiden resource at our Ngami project a couple of weeks ago. So that's gone all the way from concept to a development pathway now. And at the same time, on our Ketlanya project, we were able to do enough work to really highlight the district scale opportunity of these 2 base margin projects. And that was enough to secure the interest of BHP, and this led to a longer term partnership, of course. And announced yesterday, we were also able to demonstrate the strategic value of our Okavango project, literally to the northeast of MMG's ground. And with the help of MMG, we've now signed an agreement with Sinomine, who will come in and help us fund the next phase of exploration on this project as well. So this puts us in a fantastic position. Firstly, we've demonstrated we're adding value. All the deals that we've done are on multiples of our exploration spend, but also going forward, we now have partners to help us drive our exploration through to the next discovery process while we can still focus our attention on our development story. And that really highlights a capital light approach for our company going forward. Now, it's important to realize the scale of the ground we're looking at. These licenses are over 5,000 square kilometers in size. If you've got projects of this size, you need a very definite strategy for how you're going to take them forward. And we saw this as a real 3-pronged strategy. We divided our exploration into 3 categories. The first one was tier 1, We wanted to look for big-scale systems, the kind of deposits that haven't actually been found yet in the belt, would we believe the basin margins could host them. So these are large-scale potential deposits, but to find them, you need the kind of partnership that you'd want with a major. You want to look for big systems, you want to deploy a technology-driven approach, and we brought BHP in as a partner to work through looking for potential tier ones on the margin. But at the same time, this exploration was progressing. We have enormous strategic opportunity in our Okavango project. Now, on this project, any size will do. It's next door to MMG, it's next door to a producing district. Small, medium, and large deposits will all suit us absolutely fine. They have a natural home next door. And now we have partnerships with Sinamine to progress that project forward as well. So we'll be drilling strategic target holes on that project in the next quarter. And then lastly, we have a development opportunity, which I'll spend a little bit more detail discussing in some of the following slides. So touching on each of the projects, this is our Kitlanya project, basin margin project, looking for big scale opportunities. You can get an idea from the seismic section what we're after: big scale plumbing, big scale trap sites, fold hinge zones, led by seismics along with a number of other multidisciplinary techniques. We're currently drilling on this ground. Both projects will be actively explored over the next 6 to 8 months. Drill programs going. We've got a seismic crew arriving in the next week, so another phase of seismic survey, and really exciting results coming out of these programs, and a fantastic way to explore for a kind of target that, had we just tried to take this forward ourselves as a junior, I don't think we'd be in that sort of position. So it's a whole new type of target that we were able to bring in to the Cobre fold, thanks to our partnerships with BHP. Now, Okavango is quite an interesting project. You can see MMG have come in just to the southwest of us. It's really summarized quite clearly in this slide. It's a pretty simple model. You have Zone 5 to the southwest of us. All the mineralized strike extension goes into our ground. What we've been able to do is simply prove we have the same rocks, the same basin setting, encouraging copper sulfide mineralization, every indication that you'd see the same sort of prospectivity for the deposits you get to the southwest. And this was enough to encourage Sinamine to join us in partnership, and we'll drill those contacts now, looking for new similar styles of mineralization to what MMG have in and around their Zone 5 deposit. That takes us to Ngami. Now, this is our most advanced project at the moment. The one we've definitely spent the most amount of time on. It's a very different sort of deposit for the Kalahari Copper Belt. What's really different about it is, firstly, the mineralization is all fine-grained chalcocite with a small oxide component. We're not seeing the traditional vein-hosted sulfides that you would see elsewhere in the belt. The second thing is it's fracture-hosted, and these fractures are bounded by impermeable hanging and footwall rocks. It's below the water table, and it extends for tens of kilometers. So you've actually got a Goldilocks zone, if you like, for an in-situ copper operation. So to give you an idea, when we first started exploring, we went in with a traditional model. We drilled a number of high-grade zones, and we were thinking of an underground operation. But as we carried on our drill program and expanded it, we realized that we had this very large, low-grade or moderate-grade zone that extended for about 40 kilometers. By moderate grade, we're looking at about 0.5% over 5 to up to 15 meters, and even wider in place in true thickness. Really, this started sending us down a journey where we started looking at perhaps the real target here is a bigger scale target. Let's not just focus on the smaller potential underground deposits. Let's expand our net and look at a way to try and beneficiate this much larger potential resource. And this started us on quite a long journey. Originally, we started a couple of years ago doing desktop work. We got WSP in Australia to model up the fracture system, prove that the concept could actually happen. We then took that work and applied it in the field. We drilled a series of injection and recovery wells. We spent over $1 million on this exercise. We pumped hundreds of thousands of liters of water into the injection wells, modeled the fluid flow in 3D, and we were able to demonstrate that we had the right fluid flow and fracture architecture to actually inject and recover successfully into the ground. So this is a major step forward for us. In parallel, we started metallurgical test work. Firstly, simple tests demonstrated we could beneficiate both copper and silver, which was really interesting, from the chalcocite ore. These started with simple bottle roll tests, and then we took it a step further. We now wanted to see what kind of recoveries would we get in situ. So we took whole core, we packed this into vessels. This was all managed through METS Engineering and ALS here in Perth. And we simulated the in situ environment by injecting the same sort of leaching agent through the core packed in a silica matrix. This went on for 4 months, and we could track the kind of recovery curves for 4 very distinct types of mineralization along the contact. Really, some portions which we thought weren't going to beneficiate very well, and then the more classic ore. And we had really unexpectedly high recoveries for this. The worst case was about 30%, best case was over 80%, and we were seeing an average of over 50% recoveries. Just to give you an idea, all our economics is based on just 30% recovery, so this is a huge benefit. We then took this to the next step. We actually built a little lab SXEW plant and made our first copper, which is exactly what we would do, obviously scaled up when we run this process in the field. So we created a copper cathode from an in situ simulation of the project. Now, with this amount of sort of background and success, we went to another drill program this year. We had more good exploration hits, and we were able to put the first portion of the deposit into category. We released this a couple of weeks ago. This really highlights the scale of the project. Now, we only put the purple area in category, and that's about 11.5 million tons at over 0.5% copper. What's really interesting for me is the red zone. Now, pretty well-defined and drill-tested exploration target, over 20 kilometers of drilling into it, and that comes in at 200 to 300 million tons at about 0.4% copper. And this gives you a really good comparative to Florence Copper, which goes into production this quarter. Similar method of extraction, similar scale and size, and there you're dealing with $1 billion market cap company. So the last point here is we did the OPEX numbers as part of the resource modeling, and we're looking at OPEXs right at the bottom of the global cost curve. We can bring this all the way down to $1 a pound. So here you have scale and a tremendous opportunity going forward. Where we're at now is our next step. We've started our environmental permitting, which will allow us to build a pilot plant. Once we have the pilot plant commissioned and built, this puts us onto a PFS pathway. So we'll do further resource drilling and work our way through to PFS. So finally, just to summarize where the company's at, we really believe we're delivering copper opportunities at the right time. You know, we have a very diversified exposure. You've got opportunities for new tier 1 discoveries. You've got opportunities for short-term windfalls in our Okavango project, and you've got a development pathway for copper as well. We've proven our track record. We've taken projects from concept all the way to proven deposits or JORCed deposits, and being able to secure partnerships, BHP being a key one, but also now bringing in Sinamine as well to help with Okavango. And this puts the company in a great position. We're capital light for our next phase of work, but highly active. We'll have as many as 60 people in the field working on our exploration projects in this last quarter. We've got seismics, 2 drill programs, gravity surveys going on, plenty of news flows coming out, plenty of opportunity for new discoveries. Thank you. Last thing, I'll play out with a video which just summarizes our in situ journey over the last year and the kind of milestones that we've achieved. Thank you.